From AATH, the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor, this is Laughbox, the podcast for laughter and humor professionals. Here's your host, Chip Lutz.
Well, here we are. It's time for Laughbox, my favorite time of the week. And just as a side note, this is our last episode before summer vacation. Yeah, I'm taking the summer off, so you'll have to wait, catch up on episodes you haven't listened to before. So, do you like games? You want to play a game? Want to know about games? Well, this week I am talking to Mary Couzin. She is the person that is in charge of the Chicago Toy and Game Fair. Actually, she invented it. She shares a little bit about her journey in doing that, how she got involved in the whole game and toy trade. Really super cool person. Really a lot of great information. So just enjoy it. Well, hello, friends, and welcome to the podcast. This is Chip Lutz, and today I'm live at the conference, and I get to talk to somebody pretty cool. That's what's cool about the conference is a lot of neat people, really diverse backgrounds. I got to talk to Mary Couzin. She is in charge of games, all sorts of games. She is the game queen. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Well, yeah, it's really cool that you're here. For the listeners, if you could tell me a little bit about who you are, your background.
Sure. So I started in the industry I'm in now, the toy and game industry, by designing toys and games as my side hustle to real estate. And I self-produced some, I licensed some, and it was a lot of fun. And then I was traveling the world to trade shows and showing my products, helping other inventors, showing their products. And I found this cool show in Germany, and families playing together, all having fun, and we didn't have anything like that in the States, a toy and game show open to like families and kids. We only had hobby shows and trade shows. So came back and rented Navy Pier and put on the Chicago Toy and Game Fair.
Holy crap, just writing out Navy Pier. For those of you who aren't familiar with Chicago, I mean, Navy Pier is humongous.
It is.
I mean, it's giant. I mean, so was it a section? I mean, obviously, it probably wasn't the whole Navy Pier, but it was like their section that they do for things? Or?
Oh, no. I thought I was going to have 100,000 people. So I rented the whole big hall and everything and said, 100,000 people are coming, and that's how I promoted it. And boy, was I wrong.
Oh, that's really that is ambitious to say the very least. That's awesome.
That was I had no idea what I was doing.
I want to talk about your innovations, some of the things that you see. But before we get started, I'm just going to ask you a random question just to get our conversation going. So, if they were making a movie of your life, who would play you? What actress?
Oh wow. Who would play me? Sally Field.
Really? That's an interesting choice. I mean, you're just a big Sally Field fan?
I know people over the years, people have said we looked somewhat alike.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
And we both very optimistic in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
Flying Nun. Love the Flying Nun, right?
Oh, nobody even remembers the thing. That's like one of her first TV shows. She was super young there.
She was.
She was like, I don't know, she looked like she was 10. Because even in Smokey and the Bandit, she looked, I mean, what was she, like in her 30s? She looked like she was in her 20s there. I mean, so, yeah.
I know. She's awesome.
She's aged well.
She has aged well.
Aged very well. So, listen, I want to start with, your journey. So you were just creating, games. I mean, what kind of games were you creating?
So a lot of them that didn't go anywhere, didn't do anything. But the first one that did was Hollywood's Real Spiel. And a woman who worked with me at the real estate company that I worked for, she and I developed it together because back then there wasn't the internet. So we actually had to watch all those movies and figure out which lines were the best lines in every movie. And then do you remember the old VCR where you had to hit rewind and then play rewind until you got the words just right? So that's what we did for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a great game. Hollywood's Real Spiel. Like it was awesome and it sold really well. We got in a lot of top
So in
10.
that game, like we had to like get was it just the game where it gave the line, you had to like figure out what the movie was? Is that the...
So we gave you stage direction. We gave you the line. Then we gave you stage direction for reading it. And then you got a point for 4 different things you could get. The role, the actor, the producer, and the movie. So for any of those, you could get 1 point.
Wow. So kind of like... and you'd have to be a real movie buff, I'm sure, to get, like director. Because I remember lines. Now, I know some people are like savants. They'll watch, a movie and they will like have like so many things memorized for like, I maybe remember one line from a movie. I will never know the director unless it's a Quentin Tarantino movie. I know those. Like I've seen Pulp Fiction probably. It's one of those movies where I own it, but even if it's on TV, I'll watch it with commercials because it always just draws me in.
Oh, wow.
I know it's really sad. That and The Sons of Katie Elder with John Wayne.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Oh, well, you are missing out. It's got John Wayne, Dean Martin. Yeah, it's not a great movie, but my brother and I used to watch it all the time together, so it's one of those, brother movies.
Oh, okay.
So how did you, was it just a passion for playing games that took you to creating them, or what? Because it's an interesting thing, because I think a lot of times, like I gamify things for myself all the time, is like, little challenges here, and I give myself a little prize right here. But to actually create a game for consumption for other people, I would think you have to have more of a passion for games.
Well, we have toys too, so it's 50-50 toys and games. Just, but I think what it was is I had a friend who worked at Western Publishing back before it was bought by Hasbro, who used to like bring down the games and play test with us, and he would tell all these stories about the game inventors and toy inventors, and he told the stories of like the Trivial Pursuit guys and the woman who did Pretty Pretty Princess, and I was like, I can do that. Like, come on, like I'm smart, I can figure that out.
Right.
Wrong. It's like it's really hard to invent. It's an art, really, to inventing, to keep everybody involved all the time, and to make it an interesting theme. In fact, there's this whole thing: what's more important, mechanic or theme? Like, there's like it's an art. It is truly an art to develop a game. It's really interesting.
Yeah, especially for one that people would actually be interested in playing. There's some games out there that I am amazed that they're still around, like Chutes and Ladders. I just I would play.
Funny?
I would play with it with my kids. I'm like, I hate this game. And there's other simple ones that to this day are still fun, like Connect 4.
Sure.
I don't
Howard Wexler.
Yeah,
I know all the inventors.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, all of them. I know more toy and game inventors than anybody else in the world. Not kidding, I really do.
So on Jeopardy, that would be like your dream,
Exactly.
your dream column. It's like, I'll take toys and inventors for 2000, Alex.
It's true. I would so kill it. Yep.
That's awesome. Oh, so in your opinion, and besides the game you created, that was all the ones you've done, what do you think is like the best game ever invented?
That's like asking me to pick my favorite child.
Come on now, as a parent, you got a favorite child.
Yeah, but you never tell them.
You never tell them, but
No.
The rest of most of them usually know, and all of them always are like think they're the favorite. But yeah, you've got one.
I know, but they're all my friends. Like all these people are my friends, and for me to say, "Oh, that's my favorite," I
didn't
don't
say
know.
favorite. I said like, what do you think is the best? And you could take let's put a different parameter on this so it's not personal. Like the best one that the most popular that people really resonate with. Over time has been like one of those the time-tested games that has been around for a while, still has staying power, still people are still interested.
So probably Jenga, right? Because Jenga, you don't really have to think, right? Like you can just, you do have to think. And actually, the inventor is a close friend of mine. So, yeah, Jenga. I think Jenga, because it's inducive to conversation with who you're playing with, right? Like, and you can play it like in bars. It's everywhere.
Right.
Everybody knows how to play it.
You can do people. You can do teams.
Yes.
I've seen that. Well, we're at a bar where it's been like a giant Jenga set.
Yes.
Probably one that they created on their own.
Probably.
With 2x4s. But, it's one of those things where, everybody gets involved. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
But I love I love all the games. Seriously, they're all. And the thing too is like it's like asking somebody, "What's your favorite food?" Well, sometimes you feel like a McDonald's ice cream cone, and sometimes you want beef Wellington or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it depends on your mood, right?
Yeah.
Like your favorite game, like it's the same thing. Like, what do you feel like playing then?
Right. Like, so I've never liked video games. It's never been a thing for me. But, other games, there have been games that I've really liked. I mean, the game that, maybe you know the people that created it, Cards Against Humanity.
Sure, I know them.
Do you know
They're
them?
in Chicago,
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Veterans.
Yeah, so, because it's just even my mom is 82, and she likes playing that game. No, she'll play that game, and some of the stuff can come out a little bit naughty, maybe a little bit raunchy, but she'll laugh just the same. Yeah, I think it's one of those games where like I got introduced to it by my kids, and that I'm in my 50s, and I was like, this is an awesome game. All my friends and my confederates love playing it. My mom will play it. My mother-in-law, not as much, but it's just one of those interesting games. I think
that's cool. Your mother likes to play.
And it's always because it's always different. You got
true.
the same decks, and we got multiple decks, but it's always one of those things where it's always kind of different. You get different people in, you're going to get different combinations. It's just I could play it for hours.
It's true, yeah. Card games are great. Like last week, I was playing in a poker tournament.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it's called Smart Bet. It's a charity, and they've raised over $1 million for kids in Chicago, which is great. But yeah, it was down at the Cultural Center.
That is cool. Now, what have been some like the biggest, well, let's start here and talk a little bit about, the show you guys have, and some of the things that happen there, because I think that's really interesting, because I didn't know I live just north of Chicago, and I didn't know this even went on. So tell me a little bit about the Toy and Game Fair.
We're not doing a very good job if you've not heard of.
I don't get out much. Okay. I'm not a good test on whether your marketing is working, because like I live in a bubble. So.
Okay. Well, so the fair will be our 17th year, and we just have exhibitors from all over, and it's just a load of fun, very immersive. Like, we don't want people to think of it as a cash and carry show. That's not what it is. Like, you're going to come in and you're going to experience the toys and games that are there, and yes, you can buy them, or at least put an order in, because they sell out pretty fast, right? But it's immersive, it's learning, it's STEM. There's just a lot going on. Our Young Inventor Challenge goes on during the fair. And our Young Inventor Challenge are kids from 6 to 18 inventing toys and games. And every year we give out $10,000 in scholarships.
Wow.
And last year, 3 kids got their ideas licensed, and they debuted at New York Toy Fair in February. 2 kids by Play Monster in Beloit, Wisconsin, and 1 by Goliath Games down in Texas. So these kids, they get out there, they get their ideas licensed, they're on shelves. We had 2 10-year-old girls get licensed 3 years ago with this game called Ship of Treasures, and they're just the cutest girls. And they donated a huge percentage of the royalties to Lurie's Children's Hospital and didn't even tell anybody. Like, really? We just found out by chance, like long after the game was produced, because the manufacturer would have put that on, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
But that wasn't the point. They'd lost a classmate and to cancer, and they wanted to make a difference. These kids are special. What was
the game that they had created?
Oh, Ship of Treasures. Yeah. So it's a ship. The game is a ship, and you're finding treasures around in the ship. It's a card-based game. It's cute.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's still at Target. It was a Target exclusive.
Wow. And there were 10.
10.
Man, it makes me feel like I haven't really done anything with my life.
We had a 7-year-old boy that went and he won for. He did a coding game for blind people. He went on to go on the Steve Harvey show, did a TEDx talk, and he wasn't even 8 yet.
Oh my God!
I was like, I just felt, what have I been doing all my life? Like, right. This 7-year-old kid, I couldn't. I know. I love these kids. They are amazing.
That is really cool. See, I never thought about games being created by kids, because like when I was a kid, all I was doing was playing in the mud and stomping on bugs. I wasn't using my brain like that.
But kids, who's better to come up with a toy or game for a kid than a kid?
Yeah, absolutely. And like you probably remember like on the movie Big, why Tom Hanks was really good at testing the toys because he was a kid. That makes sense.
It does.
Because a lot of times as adults we have no idea. like with my grandkids, I have no idea what they like. I was all excited to get my granddaughter an Easy Bake Oven.
Oh, and that was my favorite.
Mine too. Mine too. And she's like, she thought at first, she was all excited because saw the big box. She thought it was a Barbie. And then when she opened it, she was like, "Thanks, Papa." Like, she's the look of disappointment on her face. So I was like, "No, let's cook something." And then she was a little more excited. Yeah.
I sent that to my daughter in college.
Did you really?
I did, because I thought, what's something that's like from home, right?
Right.
Like, and so, and her friends, they went crazy over it.
I'm sure, because you can make anything in an Easy Bake Oven.
It's
yeah.
true.
I mean, it'll take you a long time to make a whole meal, but I mean, you can make anything in an Easy Bake Oven.
I know.
Now, looking at your the show that you do, I mean, what are some of the big like innovations that you've seen in the toy and game world?
Oh, so actually, right before the fair, the Thursday and Friday before, we have inventor and innovation conferences, and we have over 200 people that come from 25 countries.
Really?
Yeah, and we have 4 tracks: one for new inventors, one for professional inventors, so like the inventor Jenga and Bop It, and like they're there, and then design students like from colleges like MyEd and Kansas, and we even had some college kids from Milan, Italy, come this last year. And product acquisition executives who are there to find all the cool new ideas. And so, things get licensed every year at those conferences. And at the fair, too. So all those product acquisition people, like Hasbro will send 3, Spin Master will send 4, Mattel, like they all send, right? Like we have about 100, just short of 100 product acquisition executives all on the search for new toy and game ideas. And they were both at the conferences, at the fair, just trying to find things to license. And we're known for being that our theme is like innovation. So that's where you're going to find the
So the fair is almost kind of like a clearinghouse. I mean, in a way, you got people that are looking for licensure and people that also do the licensing. So it's almost like a good marry up for people that have stuff.
Absolutely.
Makes me want to create a game. I can't.
should.
Yeah, I should. I don't have the brain for that. So
No, you shouldn't say that.
I really don't. But it would be fun. I'm trying to think of like the worst game I've ever played in my entire life, but I can't think of it besides Chutes and Ladders. I remember arguing with my daughter when she was like 3. We were playing Candyland, and she was like, "No, it's played this way." I'm like, "No, I read the rules. You cannot read." And I'm like. And I was like, that really takes all the fun out of it if I was arguing with her about it. Anyway, just so kind of funny.
That is funny.
Anyway, so, I mean, obviously you got a love for that. I mean, what are some of the great things you see, like with, the whole game thing? I mean, why should people even care?
Oh, because first of all, if you play games, there's something called SI, strategic intelligence. It'll increase your like up to 16 points. There's documented studies, because the one thing schools don't teach, or it's very difficult to teach, is how do you think ahead? Like how do you teach strategy? Like it's a very difficult thing to teach. Games do that.
Right.
Games teach strategy. So that's really important. When you're playing with your kids, as I'm sure you found out, they give up all sorts of things without even knowing that they're giving up information to you, right?
Right.
Like, because they're focused on the game.
Right.
And they start talking, and they share things with you they wouldn't normally share, right? At least I found out that was very true. And it forms that bond, right, with your kids, which is an amazing bond. And then there's studies that show that the one thing serial killers have in common is that they didn't play with others as kids.
See, there you go. So you don't want your kid to be a serial killer? Play games with them.
Yep.
That's good.
It's true.
But I like the whole family factor of things, because I think sometimes that's what's missing.
Absolutely.
Right now, the one show I think is an interesting statistic. The one show that on TV where the family consistently eats together is The Simpsons, which I thought that was interesting.
Wow, I never thought about it that way.
It is. I was reading an article one time, and that was one of the even though they're some family would think their family is dysfunctional, but they eat together. And you think about when I was growing up, they had they showed families doing that stuff together, and it's a big thing with our busy lives that I think we miss out on. We miss out on that quality time.
I agree.
And I like how you brought that out, is where it opens up that dialogue that might be missing otherwise. Because they're playing video games. They're not. That's not the kind of game you'd want to play, because you're not really having that kind of having that dialogue.
It's true. There was a benchmark study. Duke did a benchmark study from 1985 to 2005, so a 20-year benchmark. And they asked people, how many friends could you turn to and how many family members could you turn to in times of trouble? Like if you needed money or if you lost your house or whatever. And I think it was like 3 or 4 or 4 or 5, and it decreased on both over 20 years. So those bonds, so we have more friends now, right? Facebook,
right,
Twitter, but we have fewer people we can turn to in times of trouble. It's because we don't have those bonds, those conversations that we used to that really cemented relationships.
Right.
And I think if they do another 20-year, maybe they're thinking about doing it, they'll probably continue to go down, right?
Right.
Which is really horrible in times of like hurricanes or flooding, or because you don't have as many people to turn to when you need help. And so that means the government's got to bail you out, or you're hurting in ways you could never hurt before when you had more bonds, more people to turn to.
Right. Yeah, it's I like the game facet of that. It's something I hadn't really thought about. Now you think it back to like when my kids were still at home. Those are some of the more fun times we had is when we played games. Even when they're home now, like playing Cards Against Humanity, it's just it's more fun than just like sitting there and doing nothing.
It's true.
It's like my wife and I went to Hawaii in November. And we stayed at this, like in a tent cabin out in the middle of nowhere, so we didn't have a TV. And so all we could really do was, when we weren't at the beach stuff, we played Yahtzee. Oh. And it was so much fun. I mean, I like Yahtzee. It's, it's a fun game for the most part. There are other games that, going back to the strategy piece, it made me think of, when I was a kid playing Risk.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
It wasn't just a game that you played for 5 minutes. I mean, that was like a weekend game. If you were playing it right, it was like a weekend game. It took you really a long time to get through things.
Perfect example.
What about the online component of games that a lot of times you can't be with people? Do you see a lot of people creating I don't want to say maybe like apps or things that they can stay connected with people other places? Is that something that obviously it's not a trend, it's here, but do you see more of that?
I think we saw a lot more of it, but it's tapered off.
Really?
I think people have more of a balance now, right? Like there was a time where they really a lot of people in our industry were afraid that no one was going to play with physical toys and games anymore. That it was all going to be digital, but many of us never thought that, but now everybody sees that it's physical will always be here. There'll always be physical toys and games.
Right.
And in many cases, the electronic really enhances play, right? Like it can. And then there's sometimes there's places where maybe you don't have toys or games, physical toys or games with you, and it's nice to have a phone and then you can play something.
Yeah.
It's like the analogy to McDonald's. Like, sometimes you feel like a quick bite to eat, and so maybe that's a quick game of something on your phone, and sometimes you want a real meal or a real so
that makes sense. Now, we talked a lot about games. I want to make sure that we give equal play to toys because that's cool that they're combined in there. And so what do you see as some of the innovations you've seen in the toy world lately?
Well, they are really combining a lot of toys with digital play now. It's kind of interesting. And Lego, interestingly enough, is going out now to really make more innovative products, which they hadn't really in the past. Like for the first time, they started coming to our inventor conferences. They wouldn't talk to outside inventors before. So I think the whole industry, the whole toy industry is really becoming more and more creative, reaching out to more inventors. Like Playmobil, for example, too, came to our conferences last year for the first time. So Playmobil wants to become more innovative. And there used to be a thing with some companies, the whole not invented here thing, they really didn't want outside inventors, but now people are looking for that innovation, whether it's digital or new fresh ideas for play. So that's exciting, actually.
Well, because I was thinking, it's funny you say that about Lego, because I thought that Lego, has really been innovative. From the stuff I grew up with, where it was like in the small little box, and when it was, you built it, but it wasn't really super hard, to the stuff that I was buying for my son, where it was super. It was almost like a car owner manual to put this thing together. You know what I mean?
That's funny, yeah.
I quit building Legos with him because like when he was little, it's like, hey, let's build spaceships and crash them. So we'd do that, and then pretty soon he would start building these like multi-engineered things, and he was outclassing me, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna play Legos with you. I mean, yeah, he's got a smart math in mind, but so do you see
and the Legos probably help with that.
Oh yeah, probably. I mean, he still loves. I've spent a small fortune on Legos. Yeah, from growing up. What about with artificial intelligence or virtual reality? That's what the whole VR really thing. Is that factoring into toy making?
Sure, it is. Yeah, they've got a lot of that. Like Hasbro's talking about. I don't know if this is just one of the many things they're talking about. Is like having a laser ops challenge course, which has a lot of that involved too at the fair this year. So that's actually interesting because it's got a physical gun or blaster or whatever you want to call it. It's got the artificial intelligence, but yet you're running around. So you've got the active play. So they're hitting on a lot of different things there, which is interesting. So there is a lot of new technical things that cause more active play. Where a lot of people said, well, kids just sit there and they don't move. But now they're incorporating it into a lot of toys and games, so you are moving.
Yeah. Like when people were really excited when the Wii first came out.
Oh, right. Good point. Right. Exactly.
When the Wii first came out, I know we got one. It's like, hey, let's bowl. And it's like, okay, we're bowling. But it was what I liked about that is, very much the same as we were talking about games is that, it was, a toy, obviously, but we had things that we could interact, together with, aside from my son with his Xbox, just blowing stuff up. You know what I mean? It was just a lot more fun. Whatever happened to the Wii?
I don't know. I was just thinking that. Like, I haven't heard anyone say anything about the Wii
Nobody's
in a while.
saying about the Wii in a while.
I know. It's funny.
Well, I only thought about it because we were cleaning out the basement, and I found the one that we had down there. And actually, I had two because my current wife had one, and I got the other one in my divorce. I don't know why I got it, but probably because it was worthless. I don't know.
That's funny.
And we'll be right back with that interview with Mary, but now it's time for Fun Facts. Fun Facts is where I share facts about humor, laughter, sometimes the absurd, but this week, since we're talking about games, I'm going to share a game fact. Did you know that during the Great Depression, people had to make do with inexpensive games like playing cards or rented jigsaw puzzles? Rented, what's up with that? But Monopoly, with its capitalistic and cruel winning strategy, seemed to fly in the face of the Depression. I love Monopoly up to a certain point, and that point is usually when I start losing. So you got a fun fact you want to share? Shoot it to me. I would love to hear it and share it on the show. Let's get back to Mary. So that's pretty funny. I mean, as far as toys go, I mean, there's some toys that you think that no matter how advanced we get, these are some staple toys that all kids of all ages are always going to love.
So it's funny you should say that. I had lunch over in Oak Brook, right? Mm-hmm. And it was with a rep who's been selling toys and games for decades, right? And he brought out a 1980 catalog. They had toys and games, Alden's, I think it was called, Audley or Alden's. I think it was Alden's. Anyway, and we were going through it to see what toys and games were still around today. Mm-hmm. And do you know it was probably 30% of the toys and games that were being sold in 1980 are still with us today.
Really?
Yeah, it was fascinating. It was really fascinating. Like, of course, Barbie. Well, there were more games around than toys, but yeah, like Operation, and the inventor of Operations from Chicago. Yeah, a lot of them. You would Chutes and Ladder. I mean, that's in theirs. And
right.
Trying to think, Ants in the Pants, Sorry, which you mentioned, that was being
Hungry
sold.
Hungry Hippo.
Yes,
right.
You're right. They're all being sold today.
Right.
Connect 4, which you'd mentioned, they're all still around.
And there's some I haven't seen for like Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
That was invented in Chicago.
Was it really?
It sure was.
You're like a
Burt Meyer.
You know them all. That's awesome. That's amazing. I didn't know that Chicago was kind of like a mecca for toy inventions.
It actually started here. They say that the the idea of toy and game inventing outside of company started in Chicago with a guy named Marvin Glass. He had 70 people working. So he never invented anything in his whole life.
Right.
But he had 70 people working for him that invented Rock'em Sock'em, like all of the classics, Mousetrap. Like anyway, he pitched them to the toy and game companies.
Really?
70 people.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. Well, I have really enjoyed. I mean, this is a fascinating conversation to me because it's so different. One, like I said, I didn't know that there was a toy and game fair, and I can't really wait to go to it because it sounds like a lot of fun.
It
sounds
is a lot of fun.
To see what's up and coming, see the things that might be I might want to get for Christmas.
There you go.
If people want to find out more about the fair or just what you do, what's your website? Where do you want them to go?
Oh, sure. So our website is ChiTAG.com, CHI like Chicago, TAG like Toy and Game.
Okay.
Or you can probably just Google Chicago Toy and Game Fair and it'll pop right up.
Awesome. When's the next one?
It's always the weekend before Thanksgiving. It's the same weekend as the Disney Festival Lights Parade downtown.
Okay.
So you can go to...
You can make a weekend of it.
Absolutely.
You can just enjoy Chicago.
Absolutely.
Fly in from out of state and just enjoy.
35% of our people do.
Hey, so best advice on, say there's a family out there like just thinking like, I really want to, do a game night, with my kids, stuff like that. Best advice on, starter games for like, families or, or what to look for.
Oh, there's so many. You mean like something new to purchase?
Or just, if they're, how should they go about choosing the right game for their family? Like, thinking about like, all right, my kid's like this, or, it's like, just advice on like, hey, well, this is what you want to look for in a game.
So if you want like a goofy game, so there's a woman in Chicago, her name is Kim Vandenbroek. She runs a website called thegameaisle.com. And she rates them all, talks about them all the fun stuff. But she herself has a really hot game out now, and it's called Peeing Pup. And so remember hot potato?
Yeah.
So it's sort of like that, but instead of like the potato getting hot, you never know when the pup is going to pee on you. So you're passing around, and it was inspired by her dog, her little tiny dog, Otis.
Right.
And, like when they're pups, you never know, right? Anyway, so it's one of the hot games that are out now.
That is so interesting. It's so interesting, like, culturally, how we've made a shift on, what we look at as acceptable in our society. Like, you think when we were growing up, I would think like my parents would be like, I'm not going to buy a game about a dog peeing. What is that about? But now it's like, hey, peeing pup, that sounds awesome.
I know, it's true, isn't it? It's funny.
Yeah.
I know, but she reviews all the games in detail. So that's a really great place to find the newest stuff that's out there. But also, there's always like even variations on classics like Jenga. Like I always say, Jenga is a go-to, not just because I'm very good friends with the inventor, but because there are so many cool new variations of it, right? But it is just like perfect because you can have eye contact when you're playing, and you stand. You can stand and play. I know, I just like that one. But there's just so. This is what they call the golden age of board games.
Really?
Yes, there are more board games out now than there have ever been in the history of toys and games. It's the #1 category on Kickstarter.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, I've really enjoyed talking to you. Now, I always like to wrap up. I got a fast 5 questions. I'm going to ask you 5 questions.
Okay.
You just answer them, whatever's on the top of your head, all right? So, Mary, who's your favorite comedian?
Don Rickles. That's the first thing that came.
Don Rickles. That's all right.
I was on stage with him once, so
so he's top of mind. That makes sense. All right. What's your go-to funny movie?
Love Actually.
Really? Okay. All right. Do you have a favorite kind of comedy?
Romantic.
Okay. All right. You and I are going to play a game. What are we going to play?
Jenga.
And last question. Do you have a favorite joke?
Oh, no one's ever asked me that before. I tell terrible jokes.
Oh, those are the best people that tell jokes because usually they start laughing before the punchline, which usually makes it super hilarious for me.
Yeah, that would be me. I can't even think of a joke. I
That's
try to avoid it because I'm
That's
so
okay.
horrible. But I
Right.
laugh at everybody else's,
See?
and I love humor.
People like to tell jokes.
Yes.
People love to laugh at them.
I do. I'm your wingman.
You're my best audience. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
Oh no, thank you, really.
Well, there you go. Mary Couzin. Pretty awesome person, huh? Just to think, thinking that she rented out the entire Navy Pier just because she thought it was the thing to do. And from there, she's built kind of like a toy and game empire. I'm going to encourage you to connect with her. I also encourage you to go to the Chicago Toy and Game Fair, which is going to be in November in Chicago. AATH will have a booth there. You'll be able to connect with some of us at the Toy and Game Fair. I also encourage you to go to our website, aath.org. Check us out. If you're not a member, I'm going to ask you why. We're awesome. Great people. So until next time, until next episode, which will be probably in August, we'll keep the laugh on for you.
This is Laughbox, the podcast for laughter and humor professionals. Laughbox is made possible by a grant from the National Speakers Foundation and is brought to you by AATH, the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. Find out more at aath.org. Be sure to review Laughbox on iTunes. For show notes and more information about today's conversation, visit laughbox.aath.org.